Welcome back to another video, everyone. Today, I'm going to touch on something that I know everyone who's trying to succeed out there in the world feels, but they don't know how to quite say it. And it's this strange phenomenon that happens to you when you're in the most painful, yet the most important phase of your life, and that's your come up. And since your come up is a special phase where you navigate uncharted waters, and one of the most strangest events that happens to you is being able to see who actually supports you. Like the real ones, the ones that don't just like your posts or read a nice comment under your video, but the ones that really want you to become big. What happens to you is that you start to see strangers, people who don't know you very well. Maybe they've never met you or never even spoken to you in real life, who actually seem to support you more than your own friends. Now, a lot of the times, the people who you think you're friends, they're not really your friends, right? And this is something I'll touch on a bit later first. But why do we feel this way? Why do we feel this way? Well, firstly, we have to divide the line between familiarity and unfamiliarity. When you start your journey towards your goals and you start becoming successful, whether it's a business venture, social media, the gym, what you notice in the first stage where you really make progress because you're a newbie, right? Let's just admit it, is that you'll start seeing support from those that you don't know very well. And this can come in all sorts of forms, right? Your first customer being someone who you've never met, some stranger writing some great comment under your video, or a gym rat giving you a compliment while you're working out. It's happened to us a lot. It's happened to a lot of people. Go out there and talk to them. But why is it specifically these types of people? Well, because it's the very fact that they are unfamiliar with you in the first place. And here's the truth. Unfamiliarity is the key to establishing respect and admiration from people. When someone doesn't know you very well and they suddenly sees you pop off and you're doing really, really good, it's human nature that dictates that they will automatically have a deep sense of admiration for you. And as I said before, this can come in many ways, right? Whether it's a compliment, encouragement, or even in the best case, networking, where someone sees you doing very well and they give you their number, their business card, or even a job opportunity, which is the best case scenario, right? But let's go one level deeper real quick. Why does that feeling of respect happen from people that don't know you? The answer is pretty simple. It has to do with a law of power in human nature, which is using absence to create respect and honor. You can't constantly be available to people. Why? Because too much circulation of you makes your price go down. Why? Because the more that you're seen and heard from, the more common you appear from people. And this is exactly why you'll start to see less support from the people that you would classify as close to you. I'm sure you've seen this. And this leads on to the next bit, which is distance is necessary to creating this form of respect. Because you guys need to realize that on your come up, you need as much help as possible. And that comes from other people, obviously. You can't do this by yourself. It's impossible if you haven't already realized. So creating that distance from yourself and even your supporters at times is necessary. And the more that you're already established in a group, whether it's a community or an online platform or school or whatever, temporary withdrawal from it will make you even more talked about, even more admired. This is when you must learn how to leave, creating value through scarcity, because that's the first proposition of value, being rare, not being available to everyone. So when someone knows you, either personally or professionally for a long time, what happens a lot of the times is they've built an image of you in their head of what you're supposed to look like, act like, and be like. I'm sure you've seen this, right? When you behave in a new way and suddenly in front of your friends, they're like, what the hell are you doing, bro? And if you've been hanging around with the same people for years, I guess, it will really be hard to break out of that mold and become your true self, because these friends, they'll never be able to see you that way, unfortunately. And that's why exactly people who don't know you very well end up cheering for you way more than the people that know you, because they want to see you as the person you want to become because of that unfamiliarity. And this kind of leads into the next point, which is expecting support in general is stupid. When you receive praise from strangers, as I've just discussed, and people who don't know you very well, don't take their support for granted, guys. For if you mess up, for example, you say something on the internet, your clients, your audience, your fans don't agree with, that could cost you big, especially if you rely on them for your living or other opportunities. At the same time, guys, when people are unfamiliar with you and they offer great opportunities, make sure you take them, obviously, because as I said, these sorts of opportunities with strangers are often life-changing, and they come very rarely. I'm sure you've seen all the movies, Wolf of Wall Street, The Big Short, etc. And guys, what you got to realize about the people that you thought are your friends, and actually I made a separate video about this. If you want to go check it out, I'm going to put it down in the description below. But for the most part, they're not your friends. And, that video comes into it a lot more. But what I've personally noticed, guys, is that when you put yourself out there in the world and you go after your goals, funnily enough, the people that you thought were once strangers end up becoming one of your closest friends. Now, why is that? Because you attracted them to yourself. And I'll talk about this a little bit more in the next video. But the best way to build good support and rapport in a network for your life is to achieve your goals. Why? Because you'll literally end up running through the strangers that are like-minded. And of course, the story goes on from there, right? So to conclude real quick, this phenomenon that you feel is completely normal. And the video title is completely normal as well. And it happens to everyone who's trying to become someone. So what is the key to achieving support? It's a mix of unfamiliarity and distance that creates the respect and the admiration that you need to further your objective. And lastly, guys, don't ever expect any support from anyone unconditionally. That's not how it works. But yeah, that's it from this one. And if you learned something, guys, please give this video a like, share it to the people that really need to hear this message, because I know that a lot of people need to hear this, but this is a topic that's for some reason isn't talked about as often. So subscribe for more if you want to see content like this. As I said, I'll link the previous video below and I'll go into it more with the next one. And yeah, see you in the next video.